All right, so basically today I wanted to give kind of a rundown of, so basically in 1865 when the 13th Amendment was passed, if you read the 13th Amendment, it basically reads that slavery was basic or is or was or is basically slavery is and was basically abolished except as a punishment for a crime. If you look at the fact that we have halfway houses like the one I'm in now that are for people with varying levels of disability, you'll basically note that a lot of the people that are in halfway houses for that people with varying levels of disability who are in halfway houses are being punished for something, are being punished for some, for at least for some kind of, for some kind of maladaptive or socially unacceptable or socially deviant behavior. And so, and usually, like, even like with the Denton State School, which is about a mile up the road from where I live, like, I've even considered the Denton State School as like a dumping ground for special needs individuals who are just too violent and too unpredictable to be handled anywhere, to be dealt with anywhere else. So, in other words, like, the Denton State School is basically like where like families or where families and loved ones and relatives of people with special needs who are extremely psychotic and unpredictable send their loved ones if they can't handle them. In other words, it's the last stop before either the North Texas State Hospital Vernon campus, which is about maybe about 30, maybe 40 miles from Amarillo, or no, maybe it's actually 30, maybe 40 miles from Wichita Falls, or the Terrell State Hospital, which is right outside of Dallas, which is maybe about, I'd say maybe an hour up that, or the Terrell State Hospital, and then there's the Terrell State Hospital, which is maybe an hour outside of Dallas. And so, if you look at the fact that we have that we have the state hospital, the North Texas State Hospital Wichita Falls campus, the North Texas State Hospital Vernon campus, and the Terrell State Hospital, you'll note that that the North Texas State Hospital Vernon campus and the North Texas State Hospital Wichita Falls campus are the one, and the Terrell State Hospital. You'll note that the Terrell State Hospital is the long-term care facility, while the state hospitals in Wichita Falls and Vernon are the short-term care facilities. But what I've learned is that some people who get admitted to the North Texas State Hospital to the North Texas State Hospital in Vernon, they never leave because they're just there indefinitely. While at the Terrell State Hospital, most people who go to the North Texas State Hospital, the Terrell State Hospital, pretty much a majority of the Terrell State Hospital patients are pretty much there indefinitely. So, like, at the North Texas State Hospital, at the Terrell State Hospital, you'll get people who are, you'll get all kinds of special needs individuals who are basically too unpredictable to be handled elsewhere. Now, one of my friends from one of my last group homes, my friend Charles Letts, he actually had a roommate who attacked him with a cell phone, and that roommate got sent to the Denton State, and according to my friend Charles Letts, that roommate, whose name is also Jacob, whose name is also Jacob, that roommate got sent to the Denton State School. And according to another guy I know, to an ex-roommate of mine, this particular Avid client was expelled from Avid because he was extremely destructive. He basically just tore his whole group home up. And he would just constantly tear his group home up. And I remember Shelly's house manager, Charmaine, was his house manager. And this particular client tore up his group home so much that he was sent to the state school. From what I heard, last I heard, he was at the state. This former Avid client, this ex-client of Shelly's, was at the state school. And so, and if you look at it, so basically, like what I'm saying, my point is like the fact you have people in halfway houses and in Texas state schools. It's the fact that that providers like Avid are making money off of this, are profiting off of people like me and my friend Charles and my ex-roommate Daniel. So, and basically that's basically during the slave trade, that's what slave auctioneers were doing, is they were making money off of the fact that off of people because of the color of their skin. And nowadays, what you often see people doing, what you often see people do, like these big disability providers like DNS and ResCare, what these big disability providers like DNS and ResCare, like what these big major disability providers like DNS and Premium and ResCare do is they profit off of people with varying levels of disability. And that's where they get their income from, is off of people with varying levels of disability. And that's where that's what you could call the age of NeoSlavery, because it is slavery basically. It's basically providers like ResCare and DNS making money off, making money and profiting off people because of their disability. So, it's definitely, I agree. It's definitely not the most pleasant thought, but it's happening even as I'm sitting here making this video, explaining all of this. It's literally happening right now. It's literally going on. It's literally happening right now. It's literally going on as I speak. And what's so scary about it is like, is whatever money these providers get, they have like their own personal bank account. They put it into their own personal. They put it into their own personal checking account so they can use it for their own perverted pleasure, while their clients live a very impoverished lifestyle. So, again, it's a really disgusting way. It's a really disgusting way to profit off of somebody. Just like, how people used to profit off, just how, Caucasian people, it's kind of like in the same way that Caucasian people used to make money off of black people. It's kind of like, or I should say, it's kind of like in the same way that Caucasian people used to profit off of selling and enslaving people of color. So, like back during the 30 years prior to the Civil War, a lot of Southern plantation owners were very wealthy. They had, a lot of money because they sold and bought slaves. Now, in today's money, that would be their total wealth combined would be in the billions. In today's money, the total combined wealth of Southern plantation owners today would definitely be in the billions, if not trillions, like the hundreds of billions, if not the hundreds of trillions of dollars. If you don't think a few $million was a lot back then, the total wealth of all Southern plantation owners in the 1840s, 1850s, and 1860s combined, in 2023 would definitely be in the hundreds of billions, if not hundreds of trillions. So, you have to take that into consideration. So that's another thing you have to consider, is that when you look at like the amount of money that slave auctioneers were making, you have to consider the amount of money that slave auctioneers were making back then, and you have to round that up, and you have to, like nowadays, in 2023, you have to round that up. You have to do the math. You have to round that up to the nearest billion or trillion. And believe me, I know. Because while I am somewhat good at math, I can do basic math, which is like rounding, addition, subtraction, division, and just rounding up to certain numbers, like stuff like that. But when it comes to advanced math, I'm not as great. When it comes to advanced math like algebra or calculus or stuff like that, I'm not that good. But I am very good at basic math. Like I can do single digit numbers. I can do single digit problems. Like when it comes to basic math, I can do single digit problems, but not double or triple digit problems. So, I know I'll get there one day. It'll take time, but I'll get there one day. But all I can say is, just look in the history text. Just do your research. Do your research and you'll find it. Just do your research and you'll see what I'm talking about. Do your research and you'll see, do your research and you'll see what I'm talking about. Do your research and you'll see that, when big disability providers profit off of people and trust me, when I say do your research, you'll see that when major disability providers like ResCare and DNS and Premiant, when major disability providers with names like Premiant, DNS, and Educare profit off of people with varying levels of disability, you'll literally see that it equates to modern day slavery. So, take that as a friendly lesson from someone who has experience, who has done the research, from someone who's done the research, the math, and has taken the time to observe. Because I've taken time to observe, I can tell when someone is profiting off of the suffering of others. So if you think, if you don't think that, if you think, I'm trying to scare you, I'm not. Because I've had people take advantage of me in every way, in the worst ways possible, okay? I've literally had, if you've ever had someone take advantage of you like I have, you'll know what it's like. All I can say is don't ever let someone take advantage of you. Because trust me, I've had people take advantage, because believe me, I've had people take advantage of me. And it's not good. Yeah, it's not, to have someone take advantage of you it's not a nice feeling. And believe me, it's horrible.